Let's get straight to the point. The first and the most important reason is the Blackmagic RAW recording on the BMPCC4K and 6K. I know some people say that BRaw is not true RAW. To be honest with you, I'm not that experienced to the point that I have seen what true RAW is. But BRaw definitely saved me a lot of time, and it actually saved my projects multiple times too. By the way, I only have the BMPCC4K now, but I owned the 6K before. Everything I mentioned in this video should apply to both the 4K and 6K unless I specify which model I'm talking about. I first got the Pocket 6K, loved it, sold it because I want to try out either the Red Komodo or the Canon C70, but I ended up getting the Pocket 4K instead, and I'm so happy that I did that. Here's why. I do a lot of dance video shoots in different environments. If you are filming outdoor during daytime, you can pretty much go with daylight white balance and you should be safe. But a lot of times when it comes to indoor shoots, unless you have the ability to control every single light source, you will not have much time to adjust your white balance to the perfect level because almost every single indoor light has different color temperature. Being able to just film everything first with an approximate white balance you want and adjust it later in Davinci Resolve makes it so much easier to focus on filming on set. I know you should always have your white balance set properly before shooting, but sometimes I even change my mind when I'm editing. I literally went from 5600 Kelvin to 3200 Kelvin in post just because I realized that a cooler tone looks better when I got home. Of course, another good thing of using BRaw is the ability to change the ISO in post. This one is less important to me because usually I will set my desired ISO level on set. That's pretty much the least I can do as a videographer. If my ISO is way off on set, maybe what I need is more practices. I will usually try my best to control the environment so I can have my ISO at the native levels, which is 400 and 3200 for the Pocket 4K and 6K. That way I will get the most dynamic range out of the camera. BRaw produces a pretty flat image, but of course, a lot of cameras nowadays have similar flat picture profiles that you can pretty much go very extreme when it comes to color grading. But keep in mind, if I remember it correctly, the BMPCC4K and 6K's BRaw is 12-bit 422 when it comes to color depth. That is very, very important when you are trying to have smooth highlight roll off and less artifacts or color bending if you push the color very hard. 12-bit 422 also helps when you are trying to pick out and isolate certain colors when you are color grading. You will have a much cleaner result, let's say when you are trying to pop the skin out. And the most important thing is, it is much more natural even when you're trying to do something not too natural to the colors. Trust me, once you get used to the higher color bit depth, it is very, very hard to go back. So my most important requirement besides dynamic range on a camera is the color bit depth. Let me know what's your most important requirement on a camera in the comment section below. One thing to keep in mind on the 12-bit 422 is that it is only available when you are filming in BRaw on the Pocket 4K or 6K. If you shoot in ProRes, it is only 10-bit, but still 422. I know a lot of cameras now can shoot in ProRes RAW, and that's great too. My only concerns are ProRes is still under development where you can only adjust certain things in post, and it is not supported in Davinci Resolve at the moment. Hopefully by the time you're watching this video, those things are resolved. Also, at this moment, most of the cameras that can record in ProRes RAW need an external recorder, which not only increases the cost, but it also makes your setup less convenient. The Pocket 4K and 6K records BRaw internally. To me, that's definitely an advantage. The second reason why I think the Pocket 4K and 6K are still worth it in 2021 is of course the software that comes with it, Davinci Resolve. I don't know about other people's experience, but I have learned so much when it comes to color grading only because I got a full version of Davinci Resolve when I first got the Pocket 6K. Yes, you can still color grade your footage using Final Cut Pro or Premiere, but Davinci Resolve is on a whole different level. The knowledge that I learned from using Davinci Resolve does not only apply to color grading videos, it teaches me to have a better idea what to do on set. When I'm on set now, I have a better idea how to set up the scene, lighting, the color of the lights, the balance between light and shadow, and much more. It is like I have my color grading process using Davinci Resolve in my head while setting up the scene. That is the biggest thing I earned from Davinci Resolve, not because it is a $300 software included in the box. Well, that's great too, of course. By the way, if you have never used the denoiser and the stabilization in Davinci Resolve, you should definitely try them out because they are just so good. There's almost no weird warping at all when you are using the stabilization in Davinci Resolve compared to Final Cut Pro. Trust me, give them a try. My workflow if I'm shooting a project is I will shoot it in BRaw so I can have the maximum color depth and flexibility in post. Color grading it in Davinci Resolve, export it, then edit it in Final Cut Pro. The reason why I'm still using Final Cut Pro to edit videos is because for my YouTube videos, I still shoot in ProRes to save time. So I'm happy to know how to use both Davinci Resolve and Final Cut Pro. The third reason is the huge 5-inch display on the Pocket 4K and 6K. It makes both filming and playing back the footage so much more enjoyable, not only for myself, but for my clients as well. I can't even remember how many times people said the screen looks gorgeous on the Pocket cameras. If my clients are happy, I'm happy. Being able to show the footage on such a nice screen to your clients will make everyone happier on set and motivate everyone to keep working hard. Remember, that's a built-in screen. I don't even need to bring another monitor anymore, only if I really need one. Talking about the screen on the Pocket 4K and 6K, the super simple menu is another big advantage of this camera. I don't know about you guys, but when I'm on set and I'm the only camera operator, I get nervous and the last thing I want to worry about is not able to change the camera settings because of a complicated menu. The Blackmagic Pocket Camera menu is unbeatable. Having the ability to save every item in settings into presets also makes everything much simpler on set. I pretty much just need to choose the preset I know I'm using for a certain scenario, then I can start filming, and that makes me feel good and confident. It also makes me fast on set, and people really like that. The next reason why I think the Pocket 4K and 6K is still worth it is the storage options. I'm not even going to talk about the multiple options. I'm just going to talk about the ability to record on SSD, which is pretty common on the Pocket 4K and 6K. It is awesome because it is still much cheaper than SD cards, CFast, and other storage options on other cameras. That is the reason why I did not go with the Red Komodo. Our 3D RAW is just taking up so much more space and the storage is just too expensive. Also, I don't need to transfer the files to my computer because the Samsung T5 is just way fast enough for me to do all the editing and exporting the final video by just connecting it to my computer. So recording on an SSD is cheap, fast, and convenient. I feel like I'm kind of getting spoiled by this feature too much because I'm pretty sure other camera companies won't do the same thing anytime soon. That's why I'm sure I'll have a very hard time switching to another camera brand, and that's also why I sold my 6K and bought the 4K back. By the way, if you're wondering why I sold the 6K and bought the 4K instead, it's just because of the Micro Four Thirds mount. Smaller lenses, cheaper anamorphic options from Cine, and smaller file sizes compared to the 6K. 4K is good enough for me and I don't do any FX stuff in post. You know I'm going to talk about this reason why the Pocket 4K and 6K is still worth it, the image quality. Yes, I have no idea what it is, but the Pocket 4K and 6K just give me this very film look that I couldn't get from my Sony a7 III or Canon EOS R. By the way, when I'm talking about film look or cinematic look, I'm not really talking about slow motion footage or when you apply a LUT to an image. It is the straight out of camera image from the Pocket 4K and 6K. Every single time when I play back the video on my Pocket 4K, I'm always super impressed by the image. It just doesn't look like an image captured by a digital camera. Sometimes when I'm filming in a low light situation, I don't even apply any denoising because I think some of the noise just look very natural when it comes to filming on the Pocket 4K or 6K. I would never imagine myself thinking noise can look natural too, but that's how I feel about the image coming out of the Pocket 4K and 6K. With the Pocket 6K, the noise is even less obvious because they are smaller with a high resolution sensor. The last reason is, of course, the price. I still cannot believe how the Pocket 4K and 6K can capture such an amazing image at this price point. Yes, you kind of have to rig it out in order to use it without any worries, but if you choose not to rig it out, you can still have awesome results. At this price point, if you think about all the things you're getting, the image quality, the flexibility, the software, the knowledge, the results that will wow you and your clients, I think I'm definitely getting way more than what I paid for. If you're mostly operating behind the camera like myself, I would say about 80% of the time, unless I'm filming this kind of YouTube talking heads, I would highly recommend getting any of the Blackmagic Pocket cameras. They don't only do a great job filming, but they will also teach you a lot of filming related stuff. That's it. Those are the reasons why I think the Blackmagic Pocket 4K and 6K are still worth it when comparing to other cameras on the market. If you ask me today what camera I will get if I'm being the camera operator mainly, I will still get either the Pocket 4K or the 6K. To me, the most important thing is this camera makes me super excited to film, and I know I can trust this camera for good results. I know it sounds kind of weird, but I am motivated by this camera. Let us know what you think about the Pocket 4K and 6K in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.